Hello friends, welcome back. I am so glad to be with you today. Today we're going to be talking about my confession that I am a curly girl who is anti-bounce brush, anti-Denman brush, anti-brushing your curls to try to get them into a perfect ringlet form. And I am going to give you my 3 reasons why I am anti-bounce brush. It's going to be a little bit of a hot take, and you may not agree, and that is okay. I would love to hear it. You gotta let me know if you have any hot takes of your own. I'm just also stoked to be talking about hair because I love talking about curly hair, natural hair. Actually, in undergrad, I studied chemical engineering, and we often talked about runaway reactions. And a runaway reaction is essentially something that happens that you can't stop because it just keeps growing more heat and more heat and more heat, and it makes the reaction go faster. For me, I like to ask people what are their runaway topics? What topic would they start talking about that they can't stop talking about? And for me, curly hair is definitely one of them. Curly hair is definitely one of my runaway topics. I could talk about it forever. So I won't do that here. We'll make it kind of time bound, but I will specifically focus on why I am resisting the bounce brush craze, also similar to the Denman brush craze. And my hope is to start a conversation about the fact that there's more ways to have curly hair than just one. Like, there isn't one perfect routine, there isn't one perfect way of being. And in fact, perfection, maybe that's not what we're striving for anyway. Maybe that shouldn't be what we're striving for. Okay, so bounce brush. A bounce brush is a brush that you use on wet hair to create perfect ringlets that are supposedly frizz-free. It's been blowing up all over the internet, especially in curly girl spaces, probably mainly only in curly girl spaces. So a bounce brush promises perfect ringlet curls that are totally frizz-free. And listen, the videos of people who use bounce brushes on their hair, oh my gosh, their hair looks gorgeous. It's shiny. There aren't any flyaways. Part of me definitely wants that. Part of me is very attracted to the perfect curl that is just this ideal little ringlet and doesn't have any flyaways. Because let's be real, I live in San Francisco. It's humid. I get flyaways all the time. You can probably see them now. And it's so enticing. The vision of perfect curls, ooh, yeah. I totally have a part of myself that really, really wants that. But I am gonna share with you the 3 reasons why I am anti-bounce brush, and largely anti what the bounce brush stands for in terms of perfect curls, having this really exaggerated hair routine, and trying to control your hair. The first reason I don't use a bounce brush is because of time. Holy moly. I don't even have that much hair. And when I use my Denman brush, it takes so long. It takes me probably 30 minutes, and that isn't even dry time. Like, then you have to go diffuse afterwards. That is outrageous. I am keenly aware of the pink tax, which, if you've heard of it, or if you haven't heard of it, it's the tax on women's experience where we have to pay more for pretty much anything. If you look at the comparison between women's products like hair shampoo and conditioner, it's largely more expensive than men's shampoo and conditioner. And it can be exactly the same thing, but it's more expensive. That is the pink tax. And not only is the pink tax applicable to things that you buy, the pink tax also applies to your time. I think that the bounce brush is a trend that perpetuates the pink tax on people's time. Women with curly hair are made to believe that we have to use the bounce brush, we have to have this long, exaggerated curly hair routine in order to be accepted and be viewed favorably by society. I want to break that down. I don't want to subscribe to a super long, intense hair regime that takes my time away from doing the things that I really do love, like playing with my dog, doing art, making videos. Like, if I wash my hair 2 times every week and the whole process takes me 2 hours from shower to Denman brush or bounce brush to blowing it out, that's 4 hours every week. Multiply 4 hours a week by 52, and that's 208 hours a year that you could be doing other things with. Now, I will say, if you are doing your curly girl routine as a way of spending quality time with your body, as loving on yourself, loving on your hair, hell yeah, that is fantastic. You do you, girl. 208 hours a year of self-love and self-care. I applaud you. That is beautiful. But for me, I noticed that when I was using my Denman brush, I was doing it out of frustration. I was not doing it out of self-care, and I was doing it in a way that was trying to control my hair, control my body. Now, I could shift my intentions and do the bounce curl brush in a more positive way, but honestly, that's not where I want to prioritize my time right now. That's not exactly how I want to show myself care in this current moment. Maybe that changes down the line, but as of now, the time that it takes to do the bounce curl Denman brush routine is just not something that I want to dedicate my time to. The second reason that I don't use a bounce brush is because I'm not 100% sure I want to apply that much tension to my hair on a regular basis. Now, there are some folks who say the tension is totally okay for your hair, it's not the end of the world. There are other folks that say it actually causes cuticle damage and can disrupt your curl pattern. I just don't feel like I'm getting that many benefits from it to put my hair at risk. I will also say that when I was using the Denman brush and trying to force my curl pattern, especially my bangs, in a particular direction, my bangs were like not having any of it. It was honestly really funny. They would just go limp and straight because I was trying to do something with the brush and try to force them in a direction they didn't want to go in. I'm skewing more towards the tension not actually being a good thing for my hair. And I also have quite thin strands, which means that they're a little bit more breakable, more susceptible to damage. And I don't want to put my hair under that strain on a regular basis. So my first reason to be anti-bounce brush is the time that it takes to do the whole freaking routine. And I just see that as part of the pink tax and our cultural oppression of women's time and sanity. The second piece is the tension that it applies to hair and wanting to maintain my hair without applying so much tension and the risk of breakage. The third piece is a little bit more spiritual and philosophical, I'd say. I believe that my hair is this beautiful, wild part of me that I don't actually want to tame. I feel like the bounce brush, Denman brushes, they're really trying to make women's hair conform to this unrealistic vision of perfection. And I'm so tired. I'm so tired of striving for perfection when it's not possible, and trying to shove the wildness of myself into a box that is presentable for society. I really see a connection between the Denman brush as a way to control your hair and the parallel to society trying to control our bodies. As I have let my hair be a little bit more wild, a little bit more untamed, a little bit frizzier, I have loved it more. I've had more days where I am embracing my hair. I feel more confident. I'm less picky on how every curl pattern is curling that day. And I will also say I did a 7-day mirror detox, and through that process, which I will link one of the videos down below if you're interested, through the process of not looking in mirrors for 7 days, I felt like I had this perfectionism kind of wash away from my system. Before the mirror detox, I was so picky on how my bangs would curl, And afterwards, I feel so much more liberated and being like, all right, Bangs, just do what you're gonna do. Do what you're gonna do. I am here to support you, and I'm gonna amplify whatever you're doing already, but I'm not gonna make you curl in a particular way. And for me, again, this is some way of embracing my inner wildness, embracing my inner nonconformity, and really curtailing the impact of perfectionism on my body. And I also want to emphasize, like, when we think about artwork, when you go to a museum, oftentimes the most beautiful work of art isn't actually the most perfect work of art. The most beautiful pieces of art oftentimes blend this, blend organization and disorganization. It blends orderliness with messiness. And at the end of the day, my body is artwork. I see my body and I see my hair as pieces of art that are more beautiful because they are imperfect. And I really want to practice accepting the imperfections, the frizzy hairs, the flyaway strands, the flat curls on day 2. Like, I want to embrace all of that as a embodied practice to love myself, love my imperfection, not feel like I have to conform to unrealistic beauty standards of perfectionism. So this final piece, my third reason of being anti-bounce brush, really comes back to self-love and loving myself through imperfection. And embracing my hair, embracing the wildness of my hair, not trying to tame or control my hair as an embodied self-love practice where I am showing my body that I love it, that it is free to do what it wants, and that it doesn't have to fit in this box of perfectionism that society sets up for bodies, and especially women's bodies. I am so glad you are here. Thank you for listening. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, feedback, I would love to hear it in the comments. If you are pro Denman brush, bounce brush, let me know. If you are anti Denman brush, bounce brush, let me know. Would love to have a conversation with you about it. Again, this is my runaway topic, so I could talk all day, and I'd love to have a conversation with you about your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to stick around for more self-love videos. Thank you for being here. I am so glad to be walking this path with you, whatever that may look like in terms of your curly girl journey, and I will see you next time. Ciao.